Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome back. Guys, this is the fun part. Seriously, this is the part of the college football season and the Carla and Crappy Show season where the games are about nothing but fun, and that's why this show in particular, Bowlapalooza, is so awesome. Hi, Carla.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. We've worked out our technical difficulties. We have two AJs, which is going to create some other difficulties, and we're gonna be good with that. Let me go ahead and introduce everybody that we have here with us today. I am Crappy. I'm in Pittsburgh. That's Carla. You know Carla from watching for all of this time. We have our group of five After Dark correspondent, AJ Kuftic.
That's me. Hi.
Also in Pittsburgh, who just kind of lives down the street from me. Hi, AJ.
Hi.
And now we have David, who, like Carla, is a reformer sports writer. They got smart. David got smart, got out of the business. Still starting as sports related. David, how are you doing?
I'm good. Good to be here. Is this, how many years have I done this? 3 or 4?
I think it's 5. I was trying. I should have gone back in the archive to figure out how many years.
Or however many years Carla has forced you to do this.
David has been on every Bowlapalooza show. I think that's
okay.
Since we started doing this, so.
That's pretty good. And the mispronunciation of the other AJ's name, AJ Grande, just because I like that. I like it.
I'm fine with it. I don't care.
Okay. And we may do Kuftic and Grande as we're going through this. I think that's going to be the easiest way to go. AJ, you were a student of Carla's, correct?
I was, and good times.
And now we're colleagues, so that's fun.
Now we're colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're colleagues.
And I actually used to write sports too. I used to write for Underdog Dynasty, the SB Nation website. So that was
awesome.
So I don't anymore, but
again, that just means you're smarter than I am, because I'm still in journalism, and I'm not sure why sometimes, but that is how it goes. Guys, as I said before, yes, there are bigger games on the bowl schedule. Carla and I will be back to talk about the Final Four and the title game and all of that stuff. But these games are about the pure joy of college football, as well as the pure hysterics of some of the sponsorship deals that come up every year. When we do this show, we just get together, whatever friends can join us. Everybody picks a game that they think is intriguing for one reason or another. And then we go through and treat them as we do with Carla and Crappy Show style, making picks, doing all that stuff. And we have 5 games, maybe with a couple other mentions. We're going to sneak in here too, because the bowl schedule is actually really weird this year.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the fact that OU is playing a bowl game after Ohio State season could be done is odd to me. But we will get to that stuff. I wanted to start, and David had the foresight to just start with the very first game available. This has been a regular on Bowlapalooza as far as I recall. On Friday, December 20th, the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl. I'm not sure what makers we're talking about. If we're talking about makers, Mark, yes, I would like some. That would be awesome. This is Buffalo versus Charlotte. Buffalo is favored by 6.5 points. David, this is your pick, so we're going to let you start off Bowlapalooza.
All right. Well, I picked this game mainly because of the two coaches. Part of my, sports writer background is always trying to find, who's the next big coach.
Okay.
Who's going to get hired? Coaching carousel season is always fun.
Yep.
So these are two really interesting coaches who are probably not on the radar very much. Will Healy at Charlotte. When he was at Austin Peay, just up the road in Clarksville, he went 0-11 in his first year and then 8-4 in his second. He's only 34 years old. He's taking Charlotte to their first ever bowl game. So shout out to a coach who is younger than me, which I guess is, when you start to find the baseball managers or players you watched.
Yes. And
now the football coaches are younger than you. I feel like that's like a rite of passage for aging wise. So that's exciting. I want to see what happens with Will Healy's career. And then Buffalo is coached by Lance Leipold, who is not quite 34. He's 55, so he's kind of mid-career. He won 6 national championships in Division III, 6 in 8 years at Wisconsin Whitewater. So,
okay.
Wisconsin Whitewater to Buffalo. So I guess the guy likes Lake Effect snow or something. So
there's a type there. Definitely.
So that's just an interesting game. They're going down to the Bahamas and first bowl game and then back-to-back bowl games for Buffalo. So just seeing these two coaches and what they what their careers lead to is going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have a pick for this game? I think
I'm going to take Charlotte.
Okay.
Just because.
Okay. Sounds awesome. And there's the thing that I have to get used to. In past, we've done Google Hangouts, and I have this nice little lineup of people who are ready to speak to me, and I don't have that now. So I'm going to have to go by memory. AJ Kuftic, what do you think about this game?
Number one, Maker's Wanted is not Maker's Mark. It is this bowl game. You could
just let me dream, AJ. You could just let me have fun.
No, I'm about to kill this game. I'm about to kill this entire idea because this game is being brought to you by Elk Grove Village, Illinois, home to the largest industrial park in the United States. That's why it's Maker's Wanted.
I actually have friends. My family had friends. There's a guy whose birthday is today, actually.
Happy birthday to that guy.
Who grew up in Elk Grove Village.
Well, congratulations. He is a maker.
His name is John. His name is John. And John, happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday, John. You're a maker. So this bowl game was previously sponsored by Popeyes, which made it the best bowl game. And
hard to argue.
And the reason it's no longer the Popeyes Bowl is that they got bought. Popeyes got bought by Restaurant Brands International because that doesn't sound like a front of any kind. That chain also owns, or that company also owns Tim Hortons and Burger King.
Plus they're busy making chicken, trying to keep up with the demand for chicken sandwiches.
Right, Restaurant Brands International is getting paper right now off of Timbits and sandwiches. So, when they bought Popeyes, they decided to not renew the sponsorship, which is the worst business decision they've ever made.
I think so.
And so, I think sure. Let's go with Charlotte, the feel-good story of the year. Let's go with Charlotte.
Okay.
I have nothing to actually add there.
Okay. AJ Grande, what do you think?
This is honestly one of my favorite bowl games to ever exist. I mean, the idea of December 20th, you're taking a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds to the Bahamas and giving them gifts and
just hoping they don't get arrested.
Right. And for a conference like Conference USA, this is like the pinnacle. It really doesn't get any better than this. That being said, Charlotte has had an incredible season. Will Healy is one of my favorite coaches in the country. I think Charlotte, I would pick Charlotte straight up. So Charlotte 6.5 plus 6.5 is a great pick if you're betting. Yeah. And also another great pick if you're betting. In case you don't know about this game, it's played in literally a dirt field. There is no turf. There is nothing. It is just dirt. And nobody will be there, and except for the locals.
It's like a rugby stadium, right? It sees like 15,000 people.
Yeah,
we've looked at pictures of this in the past.
MTSU played in this game. Yes, literally. And I have experience watching MTSU playing this game, and it is just a slugfest back and forth. So the under right now is set at 57.5 via BetMGM. So take the under. There will be no points.
Thank you. Carla, what do you think about this?
I would say all the statistics point to the fact that Buffalo probably should win this game, but I've got a bone to pick with Buffalo because they happen to play, and Kuftic, you should have a bone to pick with this too, because Buffalo opened its season by stomping all over our alma mater at Robert Morris. Buffalo might also be the only team all year that played both Robert Morris and Penn State. So that's an interesting proposition. And we root for conferences, right? And I teach at a CUSA school. So what the heck? I love this Charlotte story. First bowl game, go to the Bahamas, live it up, Charlotte. Will Healy, Go have a ball. Charlotte wins.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
This is also a game that nobody's gonna see because this game is at like 2:00 on a Friday and nobody's off from work yet. So
I'm totally watching
this. No one's watching this game.
It's a made-for-TV game. It's great for watching it like on your phone right when you're about to leave work.
I will be sitting at my desk with the iPad propped open, and this game will be on. I guarantee it. What I see here is two dead even offenses. So I think the difference here. What's the cliche? The defense wins Bahama Bowls. I think that's how that goes. Buffalo does play defense. They've got a basically Jared Patterson. Their tailback is basically a cube, but he ran for almost 300 yards against BG in their regular season finale, and I think they will ride him and just a little bit of defense to victory in the Makers. I still want Maker's Mark wanted anyway. Bahamas Bowl. Here's the odd thing about the schedule. I mean, that is literally the first game, not till December 20th, and then there are we don't have any games picked, but there's a big hole in the schedule like for that week. And the next game that we have up is AJ's pick. But before that, Carlo, I know there's one you wanted to mention. I wanted to mention the Heather Lyke Bowl, which is a Pitt and Eastern Michigan in Detroit. Heather Lyke being the AD at both places back to back. She's the current AD at Pitt. That could be fun, and I think Easter's going to win that one. Was Carla? There was something you had in that time span.
Kuftic just for you, Hawaii BYU on Christmas Eve. I mean, come on.
The only correct listen. This is Hawaii BYU is the reason for the season. Are you at your family? Are you at your family's house? Have you just put the kids to bed and you have to put on something while you're doing things for Christmas things? We're not going to kill any sport. We're not going to spoil things that happen as part of Christmas as a parent. When Santa's got to lay them presents out and has himself a nice little beverage, just put Hawaii BYU on. just let Mormon Rainbow Warriors wash over you. Just let it happen. Seriously, this is what this game is for. This is for me. You're at home, you're with your family, and maybe you don't want to talk about politics. Let's talk about the beauty of the Big Island. Let's do that.
Hard to argue. AJ, your official game comes up on Friday, December 27th. This is the Cheez-It Bowl, one of the finer sponsorships on bowl season this year. In Phoenix, Air Force versus Wazoo. Air Force is favored by 3. I don't think it's possible that AJ could have picked a more disparate.
The most on-brand game. The most on-brand game
possible. I wrote that in my notes. Most on-brand pick of the entire show.
Right.
AJ, tell us about this game.
So let's talk about this. Number 1, this is the only bowl game kicking off. It's 10:15 Eastern time. Yes. Number 1, let's do that. Yes. Number 2, this is an after dark. We play after dark here, all right?
Yes, we do.
Number 2, you have an option team versus an air raid team.
Yes.
Let's see how dumb this game gets. Air Force is real good. Washington State's fine. Anthony Gordon threw for 5,000 yards this year, and Washington State was 6-6. It's just spectacular. Listen, this game is going to be so dumb. Pat McAfee is the master of cheese. That's his actual title for this game. So Pat McAfee is going to be there with Cheez-Its. I believe he has a 2-story tall box seat that is not part of the stadium, from what I understand. So yeah, let's listen. If you're going to have a bowl game, get dumb. Just get the dumbest possible game.
This is what I'm talking about. This is the fun of college football. It is exactly stuff like this.
There is absolutely no reason for you to try. Don't try. Just put 2 dumb. This is why I'm fully on board with the idea that bowl games should actually happen in preseason. The bowl game should happen in like August. Just let it. If we're going to do this, let's have bowl games, and if they're not going to mean anything, which they don't. Because this game was previously the Copper Bowl, the Insight.com Bowl, then the Insight Bowl, then the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, then the Cactus Bowl, and now it's the Cheez-It. It's the Cheez-It Crackers Cheez-It Bowl. This is played in.
In Phoenix.
Phoenix.
In Phoenix.
Yes,
but it is the.
I don't even know what the stadium is called.
Chase Field.
Is it playing? No, it's temporarily being played at its previous home of Chase Field while Sun Devil Stadium undergoes renovation. So they will go play this game at ASU if you haven't considered it already. Last year's game was possibly the worst bowl game possible. That was TCU Cal 10-7 in overtime.
I remember that game. Oh my gosh.
The 2018 Cheez-It Bowl, which featured, I believe, 8 turnovers.
Okay.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, this was not a good game. Let's see. Yeah, Cal threw 3 picks. TCU threw 4 picks. I believe there were also fumbles.
There had to be because we're missing a couple turnovers.
And TCU got paid $1 million. So
there's the other point of bowl season right there.
Somebody
AJ, what's your pick for this one?
You know what? I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's what's there to know? You're playing. It's an option team versus an air raid
flip a coin and we'll come back to you. David, what do you think here?
I'm calling it Air Force. You got to respect
Air Force. Go. Okay, David, what you got?
I'm going Air Force. Team that can actually hold on to the ball, kind of control the clock, but it'll probably be breaking off long runs against a bad rush defense.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'll take Air Force.
Sounds good. Grande, what do you think?
Well, Mike Leach is one of my favorite coaches in the country.
No question. How could he not be?
Right, and so it's hard to not pick him in the wackiest bowl game probably on the slate. And so I'm gonna go on the other side. I'll say Washington State.
Okay.
I think they're prepared. I think with a month to prepare for an option team, I think it's a whole lot better than a week. And so for that
that's
reason
a good
alone,
point. Yes.
So we'll see.
Okay, Carla.
The Air Force defense is really, really great against the run. Too bad.
Yeah.
That's not going to matter in this game because Wazoo doesn't run the football, period.
You put some respect on Max Borghi's name.
And how many yards did he have?
Pardon me, Max. We're really sorry.
Yeah. No, I like Air Force. Why not? I don't know. I think the I just think they're gonna play better than Wazoo in a game like this. But this is a dumb game, and I love every minute of it.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Crappy, real quick. I need your top 3 insults of the Air Force from an Army person. Off you go.
Oh, see, I got to look those up. We're more concerned about Navy, and I have, as I'll mention here shortly, I have no room to talk about Navy. This Air Force is just kind of like, oh, hey, there you go. There you go.
All right.
As far as this game goes, I think the Air Force has the offense to hold on the ball for a long time, and plus again a little bit of defense that's going to make a difference. Air Force wins this game. Carla.
Yes.
On Tuesday, December 31st, in the Liberty Bowl, just down the street from you guys, in Memphis, Tennessee, Navy versus Kansas State. Navy is favored by 2.5. What do you think, Carla?
So I was this close to picking the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl because we talked about it in the last show, and I was like, I had to do it just for sponsorship purposes. But then I looked at the teams and I was like, Florida State, Arizona State, nah.
Oh, that's awful. That game's just going to be brutal.
Nope. The only part about talking about that game is worth the sponsorship. But
yeah.
So the way I picked this game was I was scrolling through the bowl schedule, and I decided the way I was going to pick was the first game that made me go, huh. And as I was scrolling through the schedule, the Liberty Bowl pops up, and I see Navy and K-State, and I go, huh. This is a really interesting matchup. I love this K-State team so much. Chris Kleeman, the first-year head coach, we've talked about him a couple times this season.
Yes.
The minute he was hired, I was like, that is a slam dunk hire at Kansas State. You cannot pick a better coach for that brand than Chris Kleeman. And K-State's played everybody close for the most part. I mean, the only game that you could really kind of call a blowout was to Baylor. And that was relatively early in the season, and Baylor played for a conference title. So there's no disrespect there. And that's just that's the brand for K-State. They go in and they screw around and they win a game that they shouldn't every single year. And they just like to wreak havoc in the Big 12. That was the way they were under Bill Snyder. That's the way they are now under Chris Kleeman. Love that team a lot. They have a really balanced offensive attack. Their secondary is the weakness on defense, but they're playing Navy, so that doesn't matter. Because you have a Navy team that, had one passing attempt against Army last weekend.
AJ told me it was none. Correct.
No, it was one.
It was one.
For a touchdown.
There was one. Okay.
It was the touchdown on the trick play. That was the
Okay.
only pass they attempted
right.
the entire.
Okay.
They pulled out the Philly
Only pass they
special for
attempted
them.
the entire game.
That's right.
Malcolm Perry had 304 yards rushing, did not have a passing attempt in the entire game. And triple option teams are just stupid fun, right? I mean, like every team has a problem with this. We talked about this when Navy Notre Dame week. Whether or not Notre Dame was going to have problems with it, they didn't. But I don't know. This game is really, really intriguing to me. This is Navy's first appearance in the Liberty Bowl since, I don't know, a game that Crappy remembers because he brought it up a couple weeks ago. About the 1981 game against Ohio State, which Ohio State won. But not by much.
Yes.
So I don't know. I kind of like Navy in this game. I don't know. I think Kansas State is going to be caught a little bit off guard by the triple option, and Navy's had a really great season. Only losses are to Memphis and Notre Dame, and both those teams are bowling. So give me Navy, but that's going to be entertaining as heck.
Okay. David, what do you see here?
I'm going to take Navy. Quietly, a really good turnaround here from 3-10 to 10-2 in 1 year. That's pretty wild. It's best season since Ricky Dobbs played quarterback at Navy. Malcolm Perry's not quite Dobbs. Clarksville native, Clarksville, Tennessee. That is my second Clarksville reference on the show so far.
Oh, very nice. We're gonna get a sponsorship for Clarksville. Carla, can we call this like the Clarksville, Tennessee Bowlapalooza edition?
I don't know. We can make some calls on that.
I believe the correct sponsorship is Clarkers Wanted.
So,
David, I apologize for interrupting. Go ahead.
That's all right. But Perry can throw a little bit. Looks like he can, hit that big pass, which you need when you're an option team. So even though the wizardry is continuing without Bill Snyder at Kansas State beating Oklahoma earlier this year, I'm still going to take Navy. Turnaround year, 10-2. Just a tough team to beat.
Okay. Kuftic, what you
got? First of all, the Sun Bowl is a wild card game, according to Herm Edwards. I'm pretty sure. He hasn't actually said that. I'm pretty sure he just believes that. And like next week, he thinks he's going to get to play like Miami for the division or something. Also, I can't say the Liberty Bowl without doing the Liberty commercial. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. And now it's stuck in your head, too.
Thank you.
You've been advertised, too.
Malcolm Perry is amazing. And Carla's absolutely right. Chris Kleeman at Kansas State was such an amazing hire. It's the guy go find the guy who just won 4 national titles in the subdivision below you in a Midwest place that nobody actually wants to go to, and then have him coach your team in a Midwest town that nobody wants to go to. So
except for that very last part, this sounds familiar.
Right. It's all the same. Right. It's the same thing. It works out really well, and good for Chris Kleeman. So I think Kansas State I don't think Kansas State nearly needs to worry. Obviously, they don't need to worry about the pass. I think Kansas State actually pulls out a win here. But Malcolm Perry was just incredible to watch in the Army game. And as Jeff Monken said after the game, I'm really glad he's graduating. So those are his actual words.
Nice. Grande, what do you think about this one?
Goodness, this bowl game's always fun because something weird always happens. And I know we say that about every bowl game, but with this game being in the Liberty Bowl, there's no telling what'll happen. I think fan turnout will be interesting, and I think it will play a part in this game.
Right.
I don't know how well the Kansas State fan base travels, but I do know that there are naval midshipmen. Is that the word I'm looking for?
It is.
It is
across the entire United States. And MTSU's played Navy in a bowl game, and it's never fun. This being the Liberty Bowl and this being Navy, I think those things go together. And I also think Navy's just the better team. So I think Navy.
Okay. The thing I would say about this game, if you don't pay attention to Service Academy football until the Army Navy game, you probably know by now the one thing that you need to know about this game, and that is Malcolm Perry. He he can throw the ball a little bit. Doesn't really need to. And if you watched him against Army on Saturday, and I should say, Carla, congratulations, along with my father.
Go Navy, beat Army.
I owe my father $1 as for the first time in 4 years, excuse me. But I think Malcolm Perry is the difference in this one. So Navy wins the Liberty Bowl Grande. Wednesday, January 1st in the Outback Bowl in Tampa. And this is interesting. Jim Tressel Jr. and PJ Fleck in Minnesota versus Auburn. Auburn is favored by 7. AJ, what you got about this game?
Oh my gosh. This game is going to be a total buffet of bits, and I am so excited. I will personally be in Dallas for the Nashville Predators game, but if I was sitting at home watching TV on my couch, this is the game I have on. Mm-hmm. And as we know, the 1 o'clock slot on New Year's Day, nothing beats it. It's the best time of the year. You have 4 football games going on at once, but This is by far the best. I think Alabama in the other game is going to just run over Michigan, so spend your time here and watch 2 really, really good teams face off. That being said, like I said, buffet of bits. Let's go down the list. First of all, Minnesota today was reported to write thank you cards to the entire bowl committee for picking them to be in this game. Because why not? PJ Fleck. He's a weird dude. He'll do whatever it takes.
Jim Tressel Jr., as I said.
Speaking of PJ Fleck, with the row the boat mantra, this game has a boat in the stadium.
I hadn't thought about that.
Stadium in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So if PJ Fleck is not in that boat after they win this game, I don't know what to do. But expect there to be a memo go out to all Minnesota fans to leave their paddles at home, because I just have this image of people cramming as many people into this boat and just rowing and just row the boat and row the boat and row the boat. That being said,
I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
So I can't imagine this game going any other way. PJ Fleck, his guys are going to be ready. They're ready for every game. Mm-hmm. I think their 2 losses were tough. I think that they didn't have their best games, but I would not be surprised with a month's worth of getting ready that this Minnesota team is going to come out and it is going to roll. I think Auburn is a good team. I think they have a great defense. Mm-hmm. The fact that Derek Brown is playing is a game changer, but I don't think that their offense is going to be able to get it done. I think between the two, I trust the Minnesota offense more. Okay. I think Minnesota has a better team. I think they're a better coach team, and usually when it comes down to bowl games, I think the better coach team wins 9 times out of 10. Right. And I just don't trust Gus. No Gus Malzahn. I'm not a Gus Malzahn guy personally, but as the shirt says. But more importantly, I think Minnesota is a really well-coached team, and I think there being a boat, as silly as it sounds, in the stadium is a game changer.
That is an omen that it had not occurred to me, but it's an excellent point. David, what do you see here?
I've got to root for Minnesota. I've worked on a project with them, and worked on a few with Auburn too. But got to get excited for the team that's excited to be playing on New Year's Day and in the Outback Bowl. A couple of factoids on Minnesota. They won 10 games for the first time since 2003. If you followed college football that long, you remember the backfield of Marion Barber and Lawrence Maroney. Incredible backfield and a great run of running backs. Minnesota hasn't won 11 games since 1904, before the Big Ten. I'm gonna run through just a few games from that season. They won 107-0 over Twin Cities Central High School. You might say, high school against Minnesota. What are you gonna do?
Hey, listen. Listen. Twin Cities High School had a couple 4-stars on that team that went underrated.
Got hit with the injury bug. I know. That was a tough week for Twin Cities.
Star quarterback Graham Kirktrompolson was out with diphtheria, so you can't really say that he was gonna win. That they were gonna win that game. Come on.
So another game, 146-0 over Grinnell. 146-0. We're not quite into Cumberland versus Georgia Tech. But pretty close.
Yeah.
That 1904 Minnesota team allowed 12 points all season in one game against Nebraska. So just because this game gave me such great trivia, I've got to pick Minnesota.
How could you not? Kuftic, what do you see?
Minnesota ain't played nobody, Paul. By the way, I just took a quick look at the map. It appears that the boat could make an exit out of the stadium and onto what street is that? Tampa Bay Boulevard, and make it directly into a waterway which takes you out to the actual Bay of Tampa Bay.
There are canals all over that place. Yeah, you could do that easily.
And then out through the Gulf of Mexico, up the Mississippi River, row the boat all the way back to the Twin Cities.
That's a lot of rowing.
It's a lot of rowing, but I'm pretty sure that if you win the Outback Bowl and all the Bloomin' Onions,
I was going to say, mind you, there's some free appetizers on the table here with this whole game.
Have they established who is with who?
I believe Minnesota is the Bloomin' Onions.
Is it the Bloomin' Onions or the coconut shrimp?
Let me do some research.
Man, I can't go against the Bloomin' Onions. I can't. Carla, are you sticking with the Bloomin' Onions?
Well, I mean, we got to root for the conference, right? That's when we get into bowl season, we throw all the royalties aside and we go conference. But I have to raise a glass here, and I'm actually surprised my husband didn't mention this. To all of the journalists who have to cover this game, which could also be called the Cliche Bowl, and you have to do pregame press conferences with PJ Fleck and Gus Malzahn. More power to you, friends.
This is true.
Have fun with that one.
I'm just going to put this out there after doing some quick research.
Yes.
The Minnesota Golden Gophers are the coconut shrimp team this year. The Auburn Tigers are the Bloomin' Onion team. I'm looking at the Outback Steakhouse website right now, and you have to say Outback Bowl. That's the code word.
Okay.
To receive the offer. So yes, if you would like to have free Bloomin' Onions, you got to go with Gus. No one wants that.
It's tough. So
Carla,
coconut shrimp for the gang. Gophers all the way.
I know, right?
Man. Carla, we interrupted you. What do you
with Bloomin' Onions? I get that. That's fine. So. This is actually going to be a really good game. Also in a aside here, these two teams are very matched evenly statistically. And it faces two of our favorite quarterbacks of the entire season. How many times this year did we talk about Tanner Morgan and the best SEC named quarterback of all time, Bo Nix? Right? And Tanner Morgan, more than a game manager, as we learned. And I'm picking Minnesota in this game for a legitimate reason, because of the same way that Minnesota beat up my Nittany Lions, right? That run pass option is legit. Auburn hasn't seen anything like that this season. And if they can execute that run pass option, Auburn looks a lot like Penn State. Shut down that run, make Bo Nix have to win the game. The kid's a true freshman.
But is he still a true freshman?
He is.
I mean, I think so. Yes, he is.
I think so. I think it's his first bowl game. And I think Auburn. I mean, they're used to playing big games in the SEC. I'm using air quotes there.
Sure.
I don't know if they're going to be quite as hyped to play this bowl game. Minnesota is hyped as all get out to go play this bowl game.
Yeah.
Row the damn boat back to Minnesota.
Man, that's a lot of rowing. Oh boy, I'm on the fence for this, and I look at Auburn's defense, and I wonder if Minnesota can score enough. But I think if you're looking at motivation for this, Gus is like, this is kind of a second place bowl game. I'm not sure what we're doing here. But PJ Fleck, Minnesota. This is a huge deal, as AJ laid out. I I like coconut shrimp. I like bloomin' onions too, but I like coconut shrimp a lot. And I think I'm going to go with Minnesota in this game. I think that's what we're going to do.
Go Big Ten.
I
Go
have
Big
one
Ten.
more thing to
There's that
add.
too.
I
Please
feel
do.
like the first team to 25 wins this game by far.
That's
I
probably
did
true.
not. I did not write down the number, but I did write down a note about take the under. So I'm thinking that's probably the right way to go.
52 and a half.
Okay. Yeah. If I will say, if a team gets to 25,
Right.
that's going to be the way to go. I am more accustomed to talking about my alma mater playing in something like the Maker's Mark wanted Bahamas Bowl. But they're doing, in terms of meteorological sense, they're doing pretty much the exact opposite. The Ohio Bobcats will visit Boise, the blue turf, and the famous Potato Bowl on Friday, January 3rd, to play Nevada. My Bobcats are favored by 7.5. And the thing that's cool about this game, and I get to wax rhapsodic. This game is all about Nathan Rourke, the gentleman from Ontario who has established himself. I mean, he's pretty much the best offensive player in Ohio University football history. Frank Solich doesn't stick exclusively to like old school Nebraska offense, but he's clearly really comfortable with a quarterback who can run the football, as Nathan Rourke does. But he also throws the ball well, and has been the guy for the Bobcats offense for the last 2.5, maybe 3 years. He's been around that long. Guys, I looked up nothing about Nevada. I have no idea. But my alma mater's involved with this, and I really do think that this is going to be a kind of a farewell game for Nathan Rourke. So on the blue turf in Boise on January 3rd, Bobcats beat Nevada, and I think it did pretty handily. David, what do you see here?
So I didn't know a ton about either of these teams, but I was looking at Nevada. I was astounded. They're outscored this year by an average of 32-21. How do you go to a bowl game? How do you win 7 games and get outscored by an average of 11 points per game? It's astounding to me. So when they lost big, 77-6 to Oregon, 31-3 to Wyoming, 54-3 to Hawaii. So, I mean, it's just amazing to me how you can have a winning record and get beaten by 11 points per game
that's an achievement in and of itself.
So, and then Ohio, 6-6, pretty unremarkable season, despite what you've said about Nathan Rourke.
Frankly, disappointing season, actually.
Yeah.
They were picked to at least win MAC East. Generally everywhere that I
lost 4 games by a field goal or less, so a heartbreaking year. Western Michigan, Miami, Northern Illinois, Marshall. So I think Ohio's better than their record, and Nevada, worse than their record. So I'm going to take Ohio in this send off for Rourke.
Okay, Kuftic, what you got?
I would like to point out that Nevada beat Purdue this year. That's a thing that happened. The first week of the season, Nevada beat Purdue 34-31, and then proceeded to go to Oregon and lost 77-6. That's amazing. I love you, Nevada. You guys are goofy. They did also beat SEC, 1-0 SEC team, San Jose State by 3. God bless. They did. San Jose State beat Arkansas. That's a thing I want to put out there in the universe.
Transitive properties.
And just make sure that everybody remembers that forever. Ohio's going to whomp Nevada on the blue turf.
Yes.
But it's just funny to go through Nevada's schedule and go, oh, they won those games. Neat. How? And they also out-geologicked San Diego State 17-13. Never ever watch a San Diego State game this year, and so it's almost over. So you don't have to do that anymore.
Okay,
but this year was bad.
Are they bowl eligible? We don't.
Sure are. They sure. Yes, they are.
Because pretty much everybody is these days.
San Diego State was
Yes.
7-2. They were playing Central Michigan in the New Mexico Bowl, a game that doesn't have a sponsor. Good job.
Except for New Mexico.
Well,
right?
no, they had a sponsor, and then after some investigative journalism, ESPN found out that the sponsor of the bowl game was a company that had been around for like a month and had not actually done anything of any kind. And had no finance.
Outstanding.
And so they were like, "No, you can't be the sponsor anymore." And then they never got another one.
Well, yeah,
So
okay.
it's just
I mean,
the New
short term.
Mexico.
That's going to happen. It's going to happen. Grande, your famous Potato Bowl pick.
My famous potato bowl. I almost said tomato. Very different bowl. I think this one is not even close. Nevada's averaging 21 points a game, and Ohio's averaging 34 roughly. But more importantly, they are 229th in rush yards per game, and Ohio is 41st. That equals out to about 216 yards versus
does not bode
120.
well. Does not bode well.
In a game where it's going to be cold and probably rainy and miserable, whichever team runs the ball is going to win the game. And Ohio has a landslide advantage. I don't think this one's close. I think this one is over by halftime. Ohio
God bless
rolls.
you, Frank Solich. Carla, what do you see here?
This game has Maction written all over it. I mean, really,
Yes.
we're starting bowl season with a game that nobody will see, and we're ending bowl season with a game that nobody will see because this game is.
I will see this game.
Agreed, but it's at 3:30 Eastern on Friday, January 3rd, when everybody's already back to work, which makes this game even more awesome, in my opinion. It's just welcome to this. This bowl season is wacky, and this is just like the epitome of that wackiness. And the fact that you have a Nevada team that has given up more points than it has scored this season, and it's still in a bowl game. Everything that everybody else has said. Ohio has, they turned it around mid-October. They went 4-2. Those two losses were absolute heartbreakers. Nevada just flat out can't stop teams from scoring. It's the blue turf. Maction all the way. Go Bobcats. Because I mean, come on, they messed up how many of our shows this season? Because we were watching Maction while we were trying to do the show. A couple. Mm-hmm.
It's a shame this game's not on Tuesday night.
I know, right? Like. Start at least after everybody gets home.
I may actually be driving to Columbus during the end of this game, which means I will have a iPad on my lap and watching.
All I'm saying is no. This is the most Maction. Think about it. Most games are on Saturdays. Most games here during the week. This one's on a Friday during the day.
Absolutely perfect.
Maction.
What I don't understand is how they didn't get the night slot. Like, there are no other bowl games that night.
Because they wanted the spotlight, which is all Maction ever was, and is, and will continue to be.
Plus, it's January in Boise, and they wanted to play the game before the temperature drops below zero. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find the Carla and Crappy Show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Spotify, as well as a full variety of other podcasting services. You can also watch us babble on YouTube and or our Facebook page. If you dig the show, please subscribe, rate, review. If you don't, mind your own damn business. Mind your own damn business. And as always, come back in a couple weeks when we will not at all talk about how wrong we were for these picks, but we will be talking about other stuff. We've done really well with time, so I'm going to give everybody very brief answer to this question. And this could be any bowl game, not just the ones that we've talked about. It could be any bowl game. David, what is the one bowl game you are looking most forward to watching?
I don't even know the bowl schedule, but I'll say SMU FAU, because why not? Early bowl game. That's a
good one. Mr. Kuftic, what do you think? AJ Kuftic is gone.
I'm sitting here yelling on mute because that is what happens. I'm sitting here trying to be a cordial guest on a podcast and not just make dumb sounds in the background. I'm not doing this to vamp while the bowl schedule loads. All right.
Your number one bowl game that you will absolutely not miss.
3:30 Eastern on Saturday, December 21st, SMU FAU in Boca. What's wrong with you guys?
Vote number two. Grande, which one you picking?
Well, obviously, December 28th, LSU, Oklahoma, but that's a homer pick, and I'm not a homer.
You could be fine.
But the other one I will be watching is December 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay. We have Appalachian State and UAB in the New Orleans Bowl, and that will be a fun game to watch.
Since that game in Ann Arbor, I have a soft spot in my heart for Appalachian State, and that is a great pick. Carla, your number one bowl game. My
number one bowl game. You all have mentioned a lot of them. Appy State, UAB, and New Orleans Bowl. I love that game. SMU, FAU. I love that game too because the winner of that game win Kiffin's boat that's tied up.
No. Did you get his boat and one jet ski? Not both, just the one.
Yeah, just the one. Just the one.
I don't know. There's so many good games this year. I don't know how to pick. I mean, obviously, I have my rooting interest, but that's the New Year's Six Bowl. We'll get to that.
You can still pick that. I said any game.
It's got to be the Cotton Bowl for me, right?
Okay.
As the Penn State fan of the group. Gosh, when those bowl games came out, I was terrified that we were gonna have to play Florida, and then instead we got Memphis, and so it's like this is the Kentucky game last year all over again. This game, I'm sitting on my hands. But that's why I've got to watch it. So
yes.
Yeah, it's the Cotton Bowl for me. Sorry.
Okay. Listen. I mean, I definitely will be watching the famous Potato Bowl. Which is a game that I watch almost every year because the weather's weird, blue turf, blah 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 blah. And now
we tend to lose reporters in Boise, if you remember that correctly. During our reporting days that we got a reporter stuck in Boise.
But there's a game in Phoenix on December 28th that I will be paying a lot of attention to. And we will, and Carla and I will be talking about the potential for a Clemsoning. I don't even know that Clemsoning applies there, but we're going to get to that. Guys, that is Bowlapalooza.
Can I have one more? Can I have one more?
You may.
Cincinnati, you beautiful children.
Yes.
I feel horrible for Cincinnati.
Why?
Because they went 10-3 this year.
Yes. Had
they won the AAC, they would have been the Group of 5 participant playing Penn State or whatever.
True.
Instead, good luck in Birmingham. You got to go play a team that fired their head coach. Like, the consolation prize for not making the Cotton Bowl was going to Birmingham on January 2nd to play a 3 p.m. game against Boston College, who fired Steve Adazio. No one cares in Boston. Like, no one cares about this game.
Dude, but this is the part of bowl season.
That was the least dude thing they could do.
This is just go play the game. You win. You've had a good season.
Sure. Win one for the dudes.
We're good.
I'm just sad that this game is no longer sponsored by Jared because that was so much fun. The Jared Birmingham Bowl.
Oh my God!
Jared Birmingham ran out of his dad's money.
Rip the last year of the Belk Bowl, the best bowl on social media.
Yes, Russell Athletic. Yes. The Russell Athletic Bowl will take that challenge.
Okay, yeah. There's gonna be a rumble in the alleys.
I think it's actually the same guy.
Okay, guys, listen. That is all for Bowlapalooza. We hope you enjoy bowl season. Carla and I will be back to discuss bigger games, including your Final Four, and then perhaps one more show, depending on what happens with the championship game.
And how bad you are one way or the other.
Yeah, I think probably that's going to happen. David, AJ, and Carla, thank you guys for joining us.
Cheers.
Everybody's got a glass. Thank you. Good left there. And thank you guys for joining us as well. We will talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Cheers.